Well, hello my beautiful Aries, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretend to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings and I will never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using Gaia chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Aries, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask how are you doing. So this reading is going to tap into what you're moving through at this moment in time and of course what lies on the other side. Now this reading tends to be very precise. If it doesn't fit, please do not force it, of course, but I do hope something resonates in this reading for you at some point. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Aries? What are they moving through at this moment in time? What's at the very core of them that is very private and specific to them at this time? What lies on the other side? Show them the way, illuminate the path. The first card there for you is the Eight of Cups. So something in your life has not been fulfilling. You may have felt it's something you're outgrowing at this moment, or you're in search of something more. There's a lot of soul searching with that Eight of Cups. 8 is the number of the self. 2 of Wands, you're tired of waiting for opportunity to always just be out of reach. You're looking at your plans right now. You may be looking at things that have worked for you, things that did not work for you, looking at, the bigger picture in your life. 2 of Wands actually can indicate that you're waiting for results on something, or perhaps you're walking away from something and seeing how it benefits your life in some way. What is the reaction to your action at this moment? So whether you are walking away from an environment, a person, situation, a food substance, it can be that your impact of removing yourself from the situation is going to have some sort of reaction or result. And you are witnessing, reflecting on what that result will be. So I will tap in a little bit deeper there, but I feel like you're on a personal journey of discovery. We've got the Page of Wands. A lot of you are in search of that spark within yourself, that curiosity, that sense of adventure. You may feel with the 2 of Wands that you're all up in your plans, in your head about something right now, and you're thinking about your future, how you can impact your future. You're aligning with what the universe wants you to have, but also what you feel like you desire. And it can be that you're engaging more deeply in the process of envisaging a new life. But in that sense of responsibility, a lot of you may feel like, you want to be a little bit more curious and more spontaneous, more adventurous. Come back to the very core of you, that passionate spark. You're leaning into your sense of purpose right now. Yes, there's a responsibility. I could feel it heavy in your energy. It is in a past position, so it does tend to tell me that life got pretty serious for you in some way. You have this sense of duty. You're working really hard towards something, but you want to be a little bit more unpredictable. Maybe take more calculated risks in your life, get life to be a little bit more fizzy, as it were, reconnect to that playful side of yourself. And I feel You know, on the earthly plane position, you do have that Page of Wands, so something is about to get very exciting for you. Maybe it's something you have in development. We've got the Seven of Swords there. It is an opposing energy, and that basically means that it is a potential energy. It tends to be in a very positive position. Seven of Swords often gets a bit of a bad rap. It actually means that you may be doing things in a different way, away from, you know, the expectations of others, seeking more independence in your life in some way, freedom, of course. Perhaps you are trying to kind of deal with certain people in a very diplomatic way, but I feel perhaps you've given someone in particular time, because we've got that Two of Wands. You've been waiting to work out what's going on in a certain dynamic with a person, or you're waiting for the results of you kind of pausing or stepping away from somebody, or perhaps you're waiting for someone to come forward and admit something to you. But the truth will out. I certainly see that the truth will out if you are wanting to find a truth that perhaps you feel has not been forthcoming there. But that Seven of Swords, more than anything, I feel this is about your tactics in life, your strategy. You know, it's about you not conforming. It's about you not people-pleasing. It feels very much like you having the courage to reject conformity in some way, to listen to your yearning for independence, to break free from group activity or group think at this time, to limit distractions and go off and do something that you really want to do that's following your heart and your sense of purpose. Because, of course, the Page of Wands is all about leaning into purpose and starting to see the life that you aspire to achieve reflected back to you. So a lot of you deep in thought, soul searching at this time, ruminating, very cerebral in your head about your plans, the future, structures. I mean, the Seven of Swords can be connected to things that perhaps you're unsure of. You may feel like something is off right now. You're trying to tap into your intuition to discover a way through these structures. You will find a way. As I said, Ace of Swords, like truth will out there, but also you may feel, and because you're very intuitive there, you may feel that, of course, the world right now, globally, we're all moving through Neptune and Pisces energy, which is basically the era of monumental deception. Structures are falling away so that the truth is revealed. Anything that's been under the surface or, you know, kept private or secretive or anything negative, it is starting to be revealed. You're starting to see people, their motives, the agendas, and everything is like crumbling away so that you can see clearly. So a lot of you with that Seven of Swords energy, and I'm mentioning this because you've got a 10 here, which means you're looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at the whole of your life, things within yourself, outside of yourself, the world at large as well. And this can indicate that you feel something isn't right or something isn't being said. Maybe you can't put your finger on it, but you're trusting your intuition. Seven of Swords is an energy of trickery, deception sometimes, but the core of the actual card and its meaning tends to be very positive. It means you're learning to articulate your needs from a healthy place, perhaps implement diplomacy as a way of getting your needs met. You know, you catch more bees with honey is the sentence that's coming out right now. So perhaps you're in an environment where it's really challenging, fast-paced, and you're operating under a lot of pressure, but, you know, you're striving for something, being very professional, perhaps, and also articulating your needs without tipping into, you know, any negativity. You're being direct, but it could be that you're biding your time and finding a way to action what you need so that it's fair. Okay, that's something that, I mean, some of you could literally be deciding to leave a place and, you know, drafting out a letter or some sort of correspondence that says, I'm done, I'm going. And it can be that you're being really fair. You're speaking your truth, you're being direct. You're not setting out to hurt anybody or cause blame or point fingers, but you're giving a very direct message that I will not accept something and my boundaries are high, because the Eight of Cups is your foundation card and you're like, no, I'm done. I'm walking away from something it's not fulfilling. So this could be something that's connected in terms of your personal circumstances. You feel there's something off or something doesn't feel right. It can be that it's just not co-aligning with you right now. You're outgrowing people, situations. You're seeking more authenticity in your life. You're gravitating more towards the very core of you, that passionate spark, that authenticity, and anything that just feels like it's fake or, you know, it sparkles, but there's no substance to it. you're not about it. You're going in a totally different direction. You're seeking something that has meaning at this time with that Eight of Cups energy. So this can be that you're walking away, as I said, from relationships, environments, substances, whatever it is. I feel like you're following a path that perhaps is a little bit different right now. You're walking a path that you feel is right for you instead of the one that you feel is imposed on you, is what I'm seeing there as well. And that can, of course, connect to you personally or globally there. Eight of Cups is a desire for freedom, independence as well. So you do have two cards here where you want to be a little bit more free. So you could have a lot of responsibilities in your family or in your home life or in your job or in some area. And although, I mean, looking at the energy, you don't mind responsibility and duty. I feel like, the heaviness of it all has weighed heavy on your shoulders, but you seek more independence, more freedom to go off and do your own thing. You want to have more time for you. So with this Eight of Cups, I see it as you soul searching, like, is there a missing ingredient in your life right now that you desire, that you feel like you're not having? Because you're in a period of reflection. You're deep in thought about, your plans, your expectations, how they've been met or not. And you may be looking at, where do you feel like you belong in the world as it's changing right now? So some of you are searching for something other, or you're searching for home, or you're searching for a part of yourself that you feel like you've lost touch with and you want to reconnect. And I see you reconnecting as well, coming home to self. Most importantly, coming home to happiness and your inner fulfillment is what I'm seeing there. But it says here, walk away, disillusionment, and leaving something behind. So, I mean, in terms of world events, a lot of you are seeing the disillusionment across the board there. You're seeing through structures that perhaps are not as fulfilling as they once used to be, or maybe they were never fulfilling. This could also be that, you feel a little bit like you're disillusioned with some part of your path right now. You feel something isn't working, that's for sure, and you're seeking something more at this moment in time. And you're going to find it because the Eight of Cups, normally the figure who walks away on the Eight of Cups discovers the Nine of Cups, which is wish fulfillment, but you're getting the Ten of Cups, which means you can have it all, whatever that means for you. Happy families, happy relationships, happiness within yourself. Most importantly, it comes from within first, of course, and then it will filter outside of yourself. A lot of you are also realizing that your happiness is not tied up within another person. It's not tied up within a job or a label or money or any of those things. I mean, we all need money in order to live life, pay the bills, all of those things. But you're searching for something more, something with more substance at this moment in time. And you're also recognizing that you're not responsible for other people's happiness. They're responsible for their happiness. I mean, you can try and be there for a person all the time and they can still never be happy, okay? They can be critical. They can be wanting more, draining your energy. And I feel like you are taking back your power in some way, going, you know what, I'd rather just fulfill myself at this time, not in a selfish way, but when you feel more fulfilled in your life, then you're there to offer more of yourself. I feel a lot of you are so fed up of constantly giving to situations that are not giving back to you right now, and you're kind of like done with this energy. So I feel like you're seeking clarity or guidance on your next steps or on the next part of your plan, because you do have plans, but you're looking to see what is reflected back to you at this time and what is not. So I feel a lot of you on your plans, there have been some moments of setbacks or delays, and you're a fire element, so you need to power on through. When you get an idea or a notion in your head, you're inspired, you move forward, you're passionate, and you never stop until it's done. And I feel like your energy is no different there. You're definitely going to reignite that spark about something, or perhaps there's a new pathway opening up for you right now that you're getting excited about. And if not, I feel like you're going to have some news very soon that helps you get really excited about something. And always do your due diligence, of course, but I feel it helps you be more independent, whatever this is. And, I feel this is about you kind of leaving a part of you in order to discover something more that you're capable of. Almost like leaving the familiar in order to embrace the extraordinary. Because whoever walks on the Eight of Cups, they're walking away from 8 full cups. So it feels like, you have built something in your life that you feel, okay, you know what, I got there, I got to this position, But there's got to be more to this. There's got to be something else, something more fizzy, exciting, that spark, that curiosity. And I feel like you're in a period of exploration right now. And that Two of Wands is like, does this work? No. Okay, let's try something else. Or, reflecting on what you learned from something that didn't work in order to implement the lesson so that the next time it does work. This card indicates you have an appetite for more right now. Maybe an appetite because this is in the resistance position as well. You may feel that that appetite has not been satiated. You are thirsty for something more, something that perhaps you feel you don't have right now. And this could be excitement. It may be celebration. It may be success, fulfillment, whatever it is. You feel like it's just out of reach, or you felt that you've been on hold or in the same place for a long time. But I feel like you're mapping your progress, and I feel there's just something right now that you are seeking that is not in your present life, but you will have it. With that Ten of Cups, that is complete fulfillment, success, joy, people coming together, unity. It is happy families. It is happy relationships. It is feeling completely fulfilled, where you got your wishes, there's peace, good fortune, well-being, and things happening effortlessly for you. But right now on the earthly plane position, we have the Page of Wands. You're that go-getting spirit, but I feel a lot of you are perhaps rekindling a part of you. It's returning that passion, that spark. I mean, you are young at heart, but I feel with that Eight of Cups, some of you are so fed up, so exhausted with the way things have been, that you feel like there's got to be a better way, or you are exploring something new because you want to retain that freshness in life, that spontaneity that is deep in your core. And of course, when you have responsibility, duty, and you're working really hard to build a life that you aspire to achieve, it can feel heavy. It can feel serious. And for some of you, you may feel that perhaps things have occurred in your life that were not fair, because Seven of Swords with the Justice card, it can indicate that you are on a course correction to make something that wasn't fair fair. There's going to be equality, balance, harmony in your life, but you had to make some radical changes in order to make it fair in some way. And that may mean walking away from structures that you don't feel are conducive to your path ahead. It can be that you're retaining your sense of freedom. Freedom is very important. Freedom to choose, freedom to speak your mind, freedom to express yourself. And I feel like with that Two of Wands, some of you could be like waiting, watching, observing how we are moving away from certain structures in the world, and how freedom may be at the very core of some of those changes in the structures. And I feel, this is you kind of retaining that vigilance, as it were, but also having the courage to perhaps commit yourself to retaining your sense of freedom in that. So I don't know where my guides are going with this, but my guides are asking me to say this, so it's obviously important and very specific there. But it says here, exploration, excitement, and freedom. The card even says it. So that's the energy I've got coming out here. And I feel like you're kind of walking away from things that just feel like they're empty. For some of you, this could literally be that things that you were excited about or had an affinity with, friendships, environments, people, places, things, they're just not hitting in the same way anymore. And you're outgrowing certain parts of you and growing into other areas of you, and perhaps you're evolving away from things that don't bring you joy, or it just feels empty now. There's always that one friend perhaps you haven't seen in ages, and then you connect to them and it feels like you only saw them yesterday. There's a great spark, a passion, like so much effervescence in the relationship where you're talking about old times, new times, current times, all of the stuff. But then there'll be a person that perhaps you see day to day, or maybe every so often, and you're sort of like unsure, like, we used to be so tight, so close. What's going on there? There's a distance. There's something that's off, and I feel some of you may be actually encountering some sort of distance or pullback in a relationship right now, and you're like, okay, we're both changing, we're both evolving. It's okay to outgrow people and situations, but I feel that you kind of worked really hard to make it work. And the Two of Wands indicates it hasn't been reciprocal. It just feels like, you're constantly reaching out and there's no reach back. Now, of course, we can only give to a situation if we've got time and energy. So this person may be going through some stuff. They're working really hard. I see that. But I also feel like there's just this energy of both of you kind of misaligned at this moment in time. Doesn't mean you're not going to grow back together in the future. I feel more than anything, this is a friend because of your Six of Pentacles energy. I feel like you've given so much of yourself to this person. You've been there when they've been in times of trouble, in times of need, but it just feels like both of you are kind of like just experiencing different life paths at this time, and eventually in the future you will grow back together. But right now it feels like there is a distance or something doesn't feel right, and you may be doing a lot of questioning or soul searching within that. But I see that in the future you will come together and express yourselves and talk it through, lay your cards on the table, be really precise, and take accountability for actions. I feel this person will be responsible and own their truth and say, look, I removed myself from the situation because, things started to go really well for you. I feel this is something that perhaps Aries you're going to deal with. I feel like things are going to be monumentally successful for you, or things are going right, or you're excited about something. And it reflects back to this person like, oh, they're happy for you, but at the same time it reminds them of where things are not going so well with you. And they're just kind of quietly quitting, the dynamic, because they feel like close to you, you outshine them in some way, even though it's not a competition, but I feel it just reminds them or reflects back to them, and they see themselves. And when someone is doing really well, they see where they are not doing very well. So that's something I've got coming out in your energy. Now, this could be a family member as well. It doesn't have to be, but I just get this energy of a friend. And it is a shame, but I feel in the future when there is maturity and accountability, I feel, the bond between you both is really strong. It will pull you back together. So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to remove myself from this energy. I feel this is a highly explorative time for you, but I feel more than anything, you're exploring more about yourself, what you're capable of, setting yourself intentions and pathways that perhaps push you out of your comfort zone to help you reach for more. And I feel like there is this driven aspect to go after something that would truly make you happy, but you had to sit with self and discover the way. And I feel a lot of you with that Eight of Cups, it feels like life has changed. And it may feel like you don't really recognize how things have changed, or you don't really recognize, a part of your life anymore. And perhaps the vision of who you used to be is evolving, but you are transforming into someone that you are becoming, if that makes sense. It's almost like you are asking yourself, where have you been? A lot of you may have lain dormant under this responsibility or this heaviness. The world has got very heavy in its energy over the last couple of years, and a lot of you may have felt duty bound or felt like you've been in the same spot, or it's been really hard and you've been working to persevere, and you're just pushing on through. And with that Seven of Swords, it hasn't been fair, but a lot of you are thinking of strategies and structures in order to be more independent and make it fair in some way. And it says here, efficiency, hard work, and responsibility. And I feel a lot of you, you're still going to be responsible, and you're still going to adhere to your sense of duty in your life, but I feel you just want a little bit more excitement, or to tap into that spontaneous side of yourself, that playful side, that open-hearted side. And I feel like you want a little bit more adventure. And that's okay. You can encompass it all. That Ten of Cups tells me you're going to have it all. But I feel with that Seven of Swords energy, you got to be real with yourself and say, okay, something isn't working. I got to walk away from it. Sometimes when life gets really heavy, or a relationship gets really heavy, you have to come to the very core of it by reflecting on it to see, is it heavy and I have to let go of it? Or is it heavy and I need to take accountability and try and transform it in some way? What is it? So I feel this is about you kind of revealing a truth, releasing yourself from denial about a thing or a person or an environment that you feel has run its course in your life. This is a period where you kind of dig a little bit deeper. A lot of you are going to see people for who they are at this time and who they certainly are not. This card does say deception, tactics, strategy, and trickery. More than anything, I feel this is your strategy, being honest with yourself, okay? And I feel it can be outside of yourself, though, as well, where you're just witnessing people reneging on promises, maybe even global structures where you feel like all is not as it seems. You are, with that Ace of Swords, seeing through things. You may be setting yourself apart, maybe trying to be a little bit more independent or take action regarding all of these structures. But let's bring it back to you, because it keeps popping outside of yourself. So maybe these are thoughts like, boom, the world's a little bit weird. It feels a little bit like crazy on its head. I mean, the world has always been crazy, but it has ramped up that level of like chaos and strangeness, let's put it that way, over the last couple of years. So you may be trying to make sense of where you feel like you are right now and why these changes are happening or why it feels so challenging. Because the Eight of Cups is to make sense of something and go seeking for the truth of that something, whatever that is. And with that King of Wands energy, I feel like you are kind of like looking at leaders right now. Okay, I'm going to set it apart because it is pulling me outside of you, so I have to honor the energy in this reading. So you may be looking at leaders that you don't trust, for example, or it could be that you're seeing below the surface, trusting your intuition on what you feel is really going on or what the real meaning is there. You're focused on your family. I feel like with that Six of Pentacles, there's an importance here where it's like, yes, gather all the information, trust your intuition, but do not allow this sense of trying to work everything out and sometimes having that anxiety with it. Don't allow it to rob you of joy, especially in the present moment. Come back to the present moment and recognize that you are secure, you're safe. There is divine intervention here as well, and you will adapt to changes. You're someone who is naturally adaptive, and I feel like it will be fair. You're a very strong person, and I feel that this is about you, powering on through, but recognizing there is a breakthrough because you got that Ace of Swords there, and things will become easier, more balanced, more harmonious, okay? But more than anything, I feel, because you've got that Eight of Cups there, and then we've got the near future position, the King of Wands is an Aries card. So I feel a lot of you are soul searching and coming home to self, or feeling a little bit more like yourself than you have done for a long time. That spark returning, that, spontaneity, taking ownership of your energy. I mean, a lot of you with that Eight of Cups, you could feel exhausted. And if there's so much for you to do, sometimes when we don't complete tasks or responsibilities, it hangs over our head and it drains our energy. You've been meaning to get round to doing something, returning to something, which you will, okay? And you will accomplish it. And it will just set you free from it, whatever it is. But this card, it highlights you're overcoming an obstacle. Now, this could be an inner battle for some of you, because you've got two major wands here. It could be with that Seven of Swords, something is draining your energy. It could be a food substance, could be something in your body interacting with your natural resources in there, and it's canceling things out. And what I mean by that is you could be like on top of your minerals and your vitamins, and you're staying on top of hydration. But, if you take certain vitamins together, for example, it could cancel one out. So if you're on top of your vitamin A, for example, and I'm not really, scientific minded, and I'm not a healthcare professional there, so always check with a healthcare professional. But it feels with that Seven of Swords, something is canceling something out, in favor of the other. So it could be that two vitamins, they actually clash. I know we need to encompass a whole, but it could be that you have to take a certain vitamin in the morning, and maybe with food, and then another one with, something else in the evening. Or it could be that you're, eating foods with certain vitamins and minerals in them, and, one depletes the other, as it were. So if you've got certain items on your plate, like, I don't know, carbs, and then like some proteins as well, there could be specifics there that you will identify that have been canceling something out in favor of the other. A lot of you are looking at high sugar levels right now, high cortisol levels. So I feel, when you have a Knight of Pentacles, if you look up the meaning of this card connected to you personally, it connects to your body. It connects to your minerals, your vitamins. It connects to you, trying to be more healthy. It kind of indicates that you are responsible for your bodily needs, and you're persevering really hard to make sure that everything works in alignment in your body. So you could be just noticing that something is a little bit off, whether it's hormonal related. I just see a lot of you, it could be vitamin deficiency kind of related there, but it's messing with your energy levels. So you may be like, I'm on top of all of this stuff, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, how is it still my energy is off? But you identify that trigger or that deficiency or that canceling out whatever it is, and you will have more vitality, more energy, more drive there. So I feel a lot of you, yes, you've been feeling exhausted because you're under pressure, but I feel like you will get back to this sense of vitality and feel more like yourself than you've done in a long time, is what I'm seeing there. But it says big picture, overcoming challenges, and leader. So you're literally becoming the main character in your life, okay? No sidelining, no kind of like dress rehearsal energy. This is your life and you're taking ownership of it, but you feel there's something missing or you feel that you need to go in search of something. And I want you to be reminded that whatever this is, it's not really outside of yourself. It's inside of yourself. And you're going to find that because you've got that inner happiness card right there, but that will filter out and balance all the things outside of yourself as well, okay? Because you're coming back into some sort of harmony in your life with that Six of Pentacles. And a lot of you, of course, you've been giving so much of yourself. Six of Pentacles often tells me that you're an overgiver in life. When you're invested, you're doubling down on it, whether it's a project, whether it's a relationship, you're all in and then some. I feel like you're learning to temper your energy, but not lose your passion or your spark in it, okay? Because you are someone who is bold and passionate and daring. And if anyone ever tells you that you need to, find balance or mediate the energy or temper your energy, it kind of puts a little bit of a dampener on you because you're like, well, I'm passionate. I need to go get it. I'm a person who takes the initiative. I'm driven. I'm enterprising. I'm adventurous. You can do the balance aspect as well as be passionate and retain your sense of self through the whole process. So I feel like you're learning to allow your energy to help you be driven and go get what you need, but also not overwhelm you in the energy so that you're completely exhausted and drained, okay? Now, this is your advice to yourself in this moment. You're a strong person. Why? Because life has shaped you that way and you've had to be strong. You're the sort of person who perhaps has learnt that, you have to be a best friend to yourself, showing up for you, walking away from, people who you feel you cannot depend on. For example, you may have given them second chances. You may feel time is up, and I feel like you're having the courage to walk away from something or somebody. I mean, this could be a substance you're cutting out. It could be that you have felt connection to a certain lifestyle that you feel is not helping you on your path. And it's time to have the courage to face something head on. You may have struggled with it, but now you're releasing it, walking away from it. And, whatever we don't control controls you. So I feel like you're retaining your control or taking back your control in some way. And you've struggled with something, that's for sure, but I feel like you're conquering. You're having the courage of your convictions there. It says courage, inner strength, and conviction. You have everything you need within yourself to run the life that you have right now and also aspire to something more and achieve something more, and you shall have something more. The outcome energy is the Ten of Cups. Full happiness, full disclosure, good fortune, things being a little bit more effortless and taking pleasure in the moment as well as your accomplishments there. I feel like, you are going to be appreciated for all that you do in your life, but you're making some adjustments in your life right now because you felt something was either out of rhythm or out of sync, or maybe something within you has been feeling a little bit off and you're just getting back to best. Now, the Justice card is the circumstances outside of yourself. The Justice card can be, legal structures, for example. So it can be the way that the world is governed, or it can be, society and how it's structured. You may feel that things have felt really detached. Whenever you get the Justice card, it's very impartial, okay? So a lot of you, based on experiences outside of yourself, because that's this position right here, you may have felt that you've been on autopilot, just getting on by, all the responsibilities, doing what you feel is right, and you just want to come back to that spark. As I mentioned, that curiosity is like, where's the fun at right now? And you may feel that Perhaps life has demanded that you be responsible, to show up for yourself, bring that A game, which of course you're always doing and you're not going to stop that, but it has to be fair. There has to be balance. It can't just be one note where it's hard and, you are focused on your commitments, your responsibilities, your money in order to pay the bills. It can't just all be that. So I feel like you're trying to make some adjustments in your world to be more efficient, of course. I mean, I don't see this as trying harder. I feel like you're trying really hard right now. I just feel like you're going to be sent a breakthrough that helps things be more balanced and fair there. And of course, the Justice card can indicate, especially with that Seven of Swords, if you've been betrayed in the past, let down, maybe, you've been disappointed in some way, or you feel that the sacrifices you're making just feel like you're still in the same place. Firstly, you're going to see some advancement in your personal circumstances where you feel rewarded, happy at the outcome, and the results match your intentions. But also, if this is a person or a situation that, betrayed you or let you down in some way, I feel karma is going to deal with this, and, there's going to be retribution there. Some of you may actually hear of a person who perhaps betrayed you or was dishonest in some way, ghosted you, or, whatever it is. I feel like you're going to hear that karma caught up with them. Now, you are not really focused on them. You're more focused on you right now, but it may be something you're going to hear. I also feel that you're trying not to allow anyone to trigger you or live rent-free in your head and try and tear you down. So you're leaving it up to karma to correct anything that perhaps has been unfair in your life. You're taking the moral high ground is what I heard there. But we've got truth, fairness, and clarity. So a lot of you are seeking right now. Seeking clarity, seeking peace in the noise, trying to find guidance on who you are, what you really want, what is your purpose, leaning into that, following your passions, and just making sure that everything you're putting out right now, that there is some sort of fair reciprocal exchange that feels like it's worth it. And I see that in your future, it certainly will be there as well. But I feel like you're in the middle of some sort of adjustment in your life. And I feel sometimes that can be really hard because you're getting to grips with it all. It feels like there's a lot of change there that you're navigating. But I feel that some good karma is coming your way, and there is a fulfilling outcome here that almost like your future self is going to thank you for everything that you're doing in this moment. Now, circumstances outside of yourself are connected to this position because, of course, it is a hope and a fear position, this one. And the hope, of course, is the truth to be out, to really see through any disillusionment or any fakeness or any trickery, strategy, and, of course, to own your own truth and, see things as they truly are, release yourself from any denial. For example, if you've given someone the benefit of the doubt so many times and you feel like enough is enough, you're drawing a line in the sand. You're being really honest with yourself and saying, I tried so hard. I reached out, I was always there, I offered solutions, but I can't do this alone. So you may be walking away saying, I've done all I can. And then you're going to see the balance shift where someone comes towards you saying, okay, look, I didn't get it. Now I realize I'm coming towards you. Or they can be like trying and trying and trying. And you're kind of saying, unless you step up, you need to step out of my life. So I feel like you are course correcting or readdressing the balance in your world in some way where you're setting a bar and you're reaching for more. And therefore you're raising your standards with that as well. Now, the fear, of course, is deception, because this is a card of truth, and the reverse you read in this position, so you fear being lied to, perhaps, or you fear, that there is a lot going on behind the scenes, and you're worried that perhaps you won't catch something, you want to protect yourself. I mean, this is a warrior right there who is ready for anything. So you're the sort of person right now, you may be, at some point, because you have an Eight of Cups, which is kind of like walking away, you may have found yourself in fight or flight mode about something, anxious about something, but the truth will always out and you will always find the information that you need in order to adapt. There's one skill you came to this lifetime with. I mean, there's many, but there's one in particular that will always ring true, which is you always adapt to your environment. You always make things work. So if you're sent a plot twist, which I don't see one coming here for you, I see a breakthrough. But if you are sent a plot twist, you're strong enough to deal with that and make it right. to turn it around in your favor. That is a special skill that you have. Now, it says breakthrough, clarity, and sharp mind. So I would also say a lot of you are looking at intrusive thoughts at this time, trying to conquer and manage any intrusive thoughts so you do not tear yourself down, you build yourself up there. A lot of you, because there is a mirror there, you're really looking at yourself and where you criticize yourself, especially when you're under pressure. It can be that you tell yourself things that are not true, but in that pressurized moment, you feel it's okay to, in some way, tear yourself down. That's the only way I can describe the energy of what I'm being given. I'm being given this like spiky energy right now, so it can be that you're extra critical with yourself sometimes, especially when you feel like you're pushing on through. But you've got this, and I feel like you may be changing your mindset or changing the way that you see yourself as well as the way you talk to yourself, that inner voice there, and you're being more aware of the things that you've accomplished, how far you've come, how capable you are, and that you should be really proud of yourself because you've battled away. And here you are, still standing, and the best is yet to come there for you as well. Now, we also have an outcome energy, 10 of Cups, happiness for you and the people you care about. Make sure you do not, neglect your own needs in being there for others all the time. Just keep balance. Always be there for other people. I'm not saying don't, but I'm just saying do not, abandon yourself or neglect yourself, especially when you're giving so much of yourself out there. But that 10 of Cups is an energy of harmony, success, things coming to, a really exciting conclusion where you feel fulfilled, that you did a great job on something. Things start to get a little bit easier for you. And it says there, inner happiness, fulfillment, and dreams coming true. But you're working so hard to make it happen. So of course, it is going to happen. That's why there's a change of mindset here. It can be that you're believing in yourself more. Thoughts become things. You're aware of the words that you're using, maybe using more positive words and seeing them start to change your future in some way. Because remember, words are spellings. They're cast out to the universe and they attach to vibrations of things that we want in the future. That's why if there's any negative thoughts, we're all human at some points in our life, there's going to be a negative thought, okay? But we must capture it and really dissect it and ask, what is the root reason I'm being negative, or why am I talking to myself in this way, or what is putting me under pressure to make me feel grouchy? And when we come to the very core of it, by dissecting it, reflecting on it, then we can change it. Then we can adapt and realize that we can use it as a springboard to transform our lives in the most positive way. So I would say with this 10 of Cups energy that this is you feeling secure in your future. This is about emotional stability as well. Conquering intrusive thoughts and not allowing your emotions to overwhelm you. You're in control. I feel this is also you kind of like with that 8 of Cups, withdrawing to kind of take stock at where you feel like you're at right now and the direction you're heading in, getting new perspectives and realizing that something is no longer working because you want to reach this place. So I feel you're on course because intuitively you're already making those changes to be ending up in this place. This is satisfaction, this is wholeness, this is completion of everything that you wanted. And I also feel it's you coming home to self in a more balanced way, rediscovering parts of yourself that you feel like you lost touch with. And with that 6 of Pentacles, for some of you, this can be that you're sharing more of yourself, being more open. Maybe you're striving to be more open so people do not misunderstand you, because the 7 of Swords can indicate some of you feel misunderstood or unseen, unappreciated. But the more you share or open up with others, it can indicate that you highlight all the pressure you're under, you've been holding it all together, and they can truly see how you've been like in the balancing act of life right now. And sometimes people are caught up in their own narrative of how they're struggling with things, and they're just not thinking about other people. Now, it doesn't mean they don't have empathy. It can indicate that they feel lost in their own struggle or their own challenges, and it just means it kind of blindsides people. So I feel sharing a part of yourself or you having a conversation with people in your life that may be going through something as well, but you're all going through something. And if each person or each party can see the other side, then there can be a co-alliance where you come together in unity. Okay, I feel a lot of you are also learning to live in the present moment, to share memories with each other, And with that Six of Pentacles, I want you to be aware, it often means that the universe is about to divinely step into your life to give you a breakthrough, something that is going to be exciting. I mean, it could be something financial for some of you because it is a pentacle there, but I feel this is a recalibration of your life so that it is fair, so that there is more harmony. And sometimes, you know, when we feel like we've encountered a setback, it is actually here that things start to come together in a more rewarding fashion. It feels more like you're being aligned or set up for something better. And we have to move through that. But sometimes you know, may have to outgrow parts of yourself because it feels very much like you are leaving the familiar to embrace the extraordinary in your life. But you may miss the person that you had to outgrow in order to reach the pinnacle point that you are going to be in the future. But that part of you is still within you. It may just lay dormant until such time as you feel you're in a position where you can really delve into that part of yourself there. I feel you give so much of yourself. And, you know, I feel some of you, you may have had to put a little part of you to the side in order to make life work, be responsible, focus on duties. But I feel there's a recalibration here where you actually can now encompass that playful side, that spark, and get out there and be more adventurous, more flamboyant, and just be your wonderful self there. So we got the Death card. Something big has changed. I feel a lot of you, something big has changed within you, but also within your outer circumstances, maybe even at the world at large. It just feels like you're trying to make sense of things right now with that Eight of Cups. And it says here, to move forward, develop a new perspective on the world. The past is behind you and the rest of your life is still ahead of you. So yes, you're leaving something because you're embracing your future. You're actually a very forward-thinking sign. You're always thinking about the present moment, but also the future. You don't really like to dwell in the past, but something may have transformed or monumentally changed in your life that kept you stuck in a certain position right now, and you're just ready to make that gear shift and move ahead. And we've got the Sun energy. This is an awakening card. It means that, you know, you're seeing things that other people either don't see or refuse to see. The Sun is an energy of success, of light, of truth, owning your truth, a period of development and personal growth there. It also indicates more energy and more passion, but it says you are approaching a moment that has the potential to transform and change your life. Take full advantage of this time and you will achieve a future of endless possibility. So the path you're on required you to either reimagine it, restart it, have freedom with it, be explorative with it. Some of you could be changing direction or factoring in other elements that perhaps you hadn't thought of before, but it's going to be very rewarding. The Sun is being aware of what you feel is missing in your life so that you can reach for it, so you can have it. And I feel there's a lot of success, a lot of warmth, a lot of passion, a lot of abundance in your future there, and you're taking ownership to accomplish it. So I will leave that there. I'm just going to get a trinket or a rune before we close. So we have the 4-leaf clover there, okay? And this indicates that luck is going to be on your side. There is a cycle of change here that brings better fortune for you. Something you're wishing for is heading in your direction. And it may have been a challenge, but I feel that the path is being made clear for you in order to reach the point that you want to get to. So lots of new ideas coming here. Things will be fairer for you. And I feel like you're taking action, influencing your circumstances, and you're going to be so happy with the outcome there as well. Okay, so I'll leave it there. I hope something resonates. My beautiful Aries, thank you so much, and love and light.